3 true, bone-chilling horror stories that will make you think twice about those strange noises outside your window at night. Let me take you through these terrifying encounters that real people experienced when they realized they weren't alone. Our first story begins with a 12-year-old boy home alone for the first time in what his family always considered a safe neighborhood. His parents had gone out for the evening, leaving him with money for pizza and the freedom to play video games all night, a perfect setup for any kid. After ordering from the local pizzeria, the delivery guy arrived, a scruffy-looking man in his 30s with a long beard and black trucker hat. While handing over the pizza, the man stared past the boy into the empty house and asked, "You alone here?" Sensing danger, the boy lied that his parents were on their way home. Hours later, around 11 p.m., the doorbell rang. Thinking it was his parents, he rushed downstairs, but an unfamiliar voice called through the door, asking to use a phone. The boy refused to open up, heading back upstairs when the man outside banged on the door, pleading for help. That's when the boy realized the man could see him through the glass panel at the top of the door. Terrified, he ran to his parents' bedroom, locking the door behind him and calling his mom. While on the phone, he heard the unmistakable sound of their backyard gate opening, followed by footsteps inside the house. His mom told him to hide under the bed as she called the police. The boy listened in horror as the intruder climbed the stairs, tried his sister's bedroom, then approached his parents' locked door. The handle turned several times, followed by light knocking. After a few terrifying moments, the footsteps retreated downstairs. When police arrived, they discovered the back door wide open and the sliding window completely ajar, the intruder's entry point. The boy described the pizza delivery man to officers, and the next day, his parents took him to the pizzeria to identify the suspect. The manager denied any involvement by his employee Phil, who mysteriously never returned from deliveries that night. They never found the man, and to this day, the boy believes the delivery driver targeted him after realizing he was home alone. Our second story takes us to the remote backwoods of North Idaho, where a teenager's family had built their dream retirement home. Miles from civilization, surrounded by dense forest and national parkland, the massive 2-story house should have been paradise. One night, while his parents were out, the teen invited his girlfriend over to watch Gladiator in their basement movie room. Halfway through the film, he felt an overwhelming sense of being watched, but kept quiet to avoid alarming his girlfriend. After she left, he went back downstairs to turn off the lights and froze when he looked at the large window facing the backyard. There stood a man, wild-haired, filthy, with the most disturbing smile the teen had ever seen. The stranger was gently tapping a knife against the glass, staring with unblinking, deranged eyes. The teen backed away, moving to the bar room to turn off more lights, only to find the same man calmly walking to the sliding glass door, continuing to stare at him from just inches away. When his parents returned home, his father grabbed a rifle while his mother confirmed that break-ins had been reported in the area matching the same description. For weeks afterward, the teen heard tapping sounds below his bedroom at night, sometimes footsteps on the roof. When his parents left town during winter, he found himself alone when he heard crunching footsteps in the snow outside. The family's Rottweiler, normally silent, began growling ferociously at the door, followed by slow, deliberate knocking. The next morning, the teen discovered footprints circling the entire house, stopping at each window like someone had been peering in. That night, the tapping returned, louder than before. Armed with a shotgun, he stepped onto the 2nd-story deck and saw the same man, still smiling, still holding the knife. After firing a warning shot and releasing the dog, the intruder finally retreated into the woods and miraculously never returned again. Our final story takes place in March 2022, when 6 college friends rented a remote cabin in South Carolina for spring break. The property was suspiciously cheap, a 2-story house with a wraparound porch, surrounded by dense forest with no towns for miles. The owner warned them not to wander too deep into the woods, advice they initially laughed off. The cabin wasn't as advertised, older, dirtier, with hanging shutters and dusty windows. Still, they made the best of it, grilling outside and playing card games until late. Around 4:15 a.m., one of the friends woke suddenly to a tapping sound at his ground floor window. Looking over, he saw a man pressed against the glass, pale, wild-haired, shirtless, with a slightly open mouth and unblinking eyes, tapping his fingers rhythmically against the pane. After alerting his friends sleeping nearby, they turned on the porch light, but the man had vanished. The next morning, they discovered bare human footprints circling the entire cabin, stopping at every window, even the tiny one above the upstairs shower. Despite this terrifying discovery, they foolishly decided to stay another night. At 3:30 a.m., one friend went to the kitchen for water and discovered the same man standing inside their cabin, naked, back covered in raw-looking scratches, swaying slightly as he stared at their refrigerator. When they turned on the lights, he was gone, the back door wide open though not forced. They immediately fled, contacting the sheriff, who seemed unsurprisingly familiar with their story, merely commenting they'd had some trouble with folks squatting up in those woods. The rental listing disappeared days later, and none of the friends ever returned to South Carolina. But that face at the window, that unblinking stare, continues to haunt them in the darkest hours of the night. Remember, sometimes the most terrifying threats aren't supernatural monsters or ghostly apparitions. They're the very real, very human predators lurking just outside, waiting for their moment to come in. Thank you for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe for more content like this. Be safe.